So Arsenal are finally ready to start making moves in this transfer market. It's about time because we're struggling in those forward areas, and we got some players in this video that we're going to speak about. Some of it might be very good news if you're an Arsenal fan. We're also going to be speaking about the Dynamo Zagreb game tomorrow. But before we get into it very quickly, I want to ask you a favour. If you could, please just hit like on this video. So as always with these videos before Arsenal play the next day, I want to start by asking you a very quick question. A quick one. What is your score prediction for Arsenal versus Dynamo Zagreb tomorrow? If anyone's able to get it right in the breakdown video, I'll flash up on screen if there is anyone who's able to guess it correctly, because in the last game, no one was able to. So let me know. Look, the transfer news is heating up around Arsenal. There's 3 or 4 players we're going to touch on in this video, and one of them is seeming more and more likely by the day. Cunhu from Wolves is a player that we're hearing spoken about more and more when it comes to Arsenal. Let me know your thoughts on Cunhu. Is this a player that you would like at Arsenal? Because it seems like, just listen to what the Wolves manager come out and said after their last game. He said, like, there's stuff happening behind the scenes with Cunhu, but he can't let it affect him. I don't want to see it affecting his performances or his body language. It's not good enough. And we know from the reports out there that Arsenal are the team who's mainly linked with Cunhu. So it would appear that Arsenal are in a good position when it comes to Cunhu. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, by the way, because the price tag that Wolves have slapped on Cunhu is £80 million. Let me know your thought on that. To me, that's a lot of money. Look, I actually like the player. 24, 25-year-old Brazilian, very good, carries the ball well, at times is very good at finishing. I mean, you could probably look at his stats and say, well, he's performing worse than Havertz. He's got 10 goals this season, but Wolves are rubbish compared to Arsenal in terms of creating those chances. It wouldn't seem it with Arsenal's maybe past few performances, but in terms of chance creation, Arsenal are far higher than Wolves. So if Cunhu was the main striker for Arsenal and he was given more of those opportunities, would he be able to take him? I guess that's the risk that Arsenal and Arteta are going to have to weigh up to find out if this guy is the perfect player. Look, 80 million to me is a price tag I probably wouldn't go near. And again, I don't mind the player. I actually think he can be good for Arsenal. He's probably ready for that step up. Is Arsenal too big of a step up? If people say to me, Cunhu, I like the player, but I don't think he's the guy to take us to that next level, then I would understand that. I may even agree with that. But when you look at some of these other names, it's kind of like, who are you going to... Because Vlahovic is another name that we're seeing bandied about. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. At first, if you asked me 6 months ago, I probably would have said, yeah, bring in Vlahovic. But the more I'm watching him, the more clips I'm seeing of him, the more performances I'm watching from Vlahovic, I'm seeing like he might just be Havertz. People might be frustrated or thinking, what are you talking about? But to me, Vlahovic seems the same player as Havertz. He misses easy chances. He misses open goals. He misses opportunities where you think it's a dead certain goal. And if I'm being honest, I don't see an improvement on Havertz. So Vlahovic, to me, doesn't seem like an improvement. And people, like I said, they might think that's crazy, but just go and look at his stats this season. He's in a weaker league, and I think he scored less goals than Havertz. Same amount of assists. So there isn't too much difference in terms of the calibre of player. Let me know your thoughts on that if you agree or not. The third player, Evan Ferguson. For me, this is a difficult one because Arsenal have apparently going to approach Brighton for a loan deal. And it just seems like it could be a bit of a panic. You know how the Raheem Sterling situation, the closer it got to the end of the window, it seemed like Arsenal was going to do nothing, and then they kind of just went for Raheem Sterling. If we're being honest, it probably hasn't worked out. I get that kind of vibe with Evan Ferguson, and he's not even as proven as Raheem Sterling. Yes, he's a good player. If you asked me a year ago or last season, I would have took Evan Ferguson. He was a good player. He was coming into some form. He had attributes that I think could work for this Arsenal team. But since then, he can't get anywhere near the team. He seems to be injury prone. And like his goal record isn't great. Like I said, he can't get near the team. Like a year ago, you probably would have played over 100 million. If you went to Brighton last season and said, we want Evan Ferguson, they would have said, so does everyone else. You're going to have to pay over 100 million to get him. This season, it looks like you might be able to get him on a loan. Some people would say, well, it's a try before you buy. It's a risk-free option. But if I'm Arsenal, I don't want to just go for an option because it's risk-free, because it's the cheap option. Arsenal are at a situation or at a point where they need to make a signing that's really going to make a difference. Is Evan Ferguson the guy to take Arsenal to that next level? Or is he just another Gabriel Jesus who keeps getting injured? Shows glimpses, has 2 or 3 games that he plays and you think, oh my God, this guy can actually do bits. And then he goes on a dry spout for about 5-6 games and then he gets injured for 2 months. For me, Evan Ferguson is a no. Some of you guys might disagree and see other things in Evan Ferguson. If you watch him more than me, then by all means, let me know your thoughts on Evan Ferguson if you think it's a good deal. The last one is Victor Osimhen. Like the reports are out there, but it's just like, how valid are these reports? Would I take Victor Osimhen? The answer is going to be yes. Now, I don't watch Roma week in, week out to see how good he is. I go to the barbershop and they speak about him in there because one of them supports him and they say, yes, it's a good player, scores loads of goals. So look, that's good enough for me. If he can come in and score goals, it's a good player, a big name player. I just want a player who's going to really come in and make a difference. If Osimhen's that guy, brilliant, bring him in. How much is he going to cost? Can we even do the deal? I don't know. Once I get more information on this Osimhen deal, I'll bring you guys some information. It's just a name that I'm seeing bandied about more and more with Arsenal. And if he's available, sure, go and get him. Look, Dynamo Zagreb, Arsenal tomorrow. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know your score predictions. I'm not even going to go too deep in terms of tactical analysis for this one because it's a game that Arsenal just have to win. We don't need that extra playoff game in the next round of the Champions League. We need to finish in the top 8 so we avoid that game. That means Arsenal getting the win. That means we probably can't rest many of our top players. The squad is already thin. We can't be resting big name players for the game against Wolves on the weekend because this is still a must-win game. Dynamo Zagreb are a good enough team, but Arsenal, if they win this game, they're put themselves in a good position where they probably won't have to play that last knockout, the knockout game in the next round. So for me, go full strength. And in terms of team selection, what does that mean? Let me know your team selections in the comment section. For me, it would be David Raya, and then right back, look, Thomas Partey. I probably do still play Thomas Partey because for me personally, I don't want Kivior in at centre back. Some of you guys might not agree. If you don't, let me know. So I go Thomas Partey. I go Timber, Saliba, Lewis Skelly at left back. I still think he's earned his position. Keep him there. Declan Rice in midfield. The argument is Arsenal's midfield is weaker without Thomas Partey in. And I do agree because at parts of the season, Thomas Partey has been Arsenal's best midfielder. That's clear for me and so many other people to see. But let's not pretend that Declan Rice can't play that number 6 role. We bought Declan Rice as a number 6. We spent over £100 million on Declan Rice as a number 6. So let's not pretend he's a better number 8 than he is a number 6. For me, his best position still is in that number 6 position, picking up the ball from deep, progressing the ball. Does he progress it as well as Thomas Partey at times? Probably not. Can he carry the ball? Yes, he can carry it. So do that. Play Mikel Merino in front of him. Again, mixed reception around Mikel Merino. A lot of people saying they don't actually think he's good enough. Look, Mikel Merino seems to be struggling. Look, I'm not going to pretend Mikel Merino doesn't look slow on the pitch at times. A bit. Some people say he turns like an ocean liner. I'm not ready to say that. But Mikel Merino, play him. I think he's good enough. Odegaard. And then the front three. Havertz, Trossard. It's probably going to be Sterling. I'd probably go Sterling, Trossard and Havertz because that might be the only option. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. In terms of a score prediction, I'm going to go 3-0. I think Arsenal can keep a clean sheet. Would I be surprised if Zagreb score? No. But for me, I'm going to go 3-0. Let me know yours in the comment section. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me the quick favour of just hitting like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.